The most dangerous manipulators don't look like villains. They're the people you trust most, the ones who systematically dismantle your reality. Research from Harvard reveals that the average person spends nearly 4 years in relationships with this type of manipulator before recognizing the abuse. And it's not just about lies. They are reprogramming your brain's ability to trust your own perception. In this video, I'll reveal 10 unmistakable signs of gaslighting that trauma specialists have documented in thousands of cases. Once you recognize these tactics, you'll develop an immunity that most people never build. Let's start with the most fundamental sign, something that happens in almost every conversation with a manipulator. Sign number 1, reality denial. The first sign is when someone systematically rejects facts that you witnessed directly. Unlike common liars, gaslighters deny the most obvious reality. I never said that. That never happened. You're imagining it. This isn't casual dishonesty. It's a calculated attack on your perception. When someone repeatedly contradicts your lived experience, your brain enters a state of cognitive dissonance. Defending your reality becomes so exhausting that surrender feels easier. Studies show that after just 12 weeks of constant reality denial, victims show a measurable decrease in their perceptual confidence, similar to what occurs in sensory deprivation experiments. Watch for people who constantly deny saying or doing things you clearly saw. This isn't simple forgetfulness. It's a deliberate attempt to destabilize the trust you have in your own mind. Real relationships are built on a shared reality. Gaslighting creates a power imbalance where only the other person's reality exists. The second sign reveals how manipulators alter your own memory, and it's even more insidious. Sign number 2, historical revision. The second sign is when they systematically rewrite your shared past to fit their narrative. They don't just deny events, they replace them with false alternatives that make you seem irrational. Memory is neurologically vulnerable. Each time we recall an experience, that memory briefly destabilizes. Manipulators take advantage of this window to confidently insert their false version, creating memory traces that compete with your own. They'll say, "I've always supported your career," when in reality they've sabotaged it. Or they'll claim, "We agreed you'd handle the finances," when no such agreement ever existed. When they deliberately set you up to fail and then use those failures as proof of your incompetence. They actively manufacture the evidence they'll later use against you. They might hide your keys and then ask you why you're always losing things. Give you incorrect information and then blame you when things go wrong. Or tamper with your belongings and then act concerned about your carelessness. Psychologists call this induced cognitive distrust, a state where victims become pathologically unsure of their basic competence. This creates a vicious cycle. The more you doubt yourself, the more dependent you become on the manipulator's reality. Notice if someone seems satisfied when you make mistakes. They're not helping you, it's a power play. Manipulators need you to fail because your self-trust threatens their control. The fourth sign is revealed in how they distort your words, keeping you permanently on the defensive. Sign number 4, word twisting. The fourth sign is when they systematically misrepresent what you say to the point of being unrecognizable. This isn't a misunderstanding, it's a deliberate distortion designed to exhaust you. You say you're tired and they claim you called them boring. You raise a concern and they say you called them a terrible person. You express a feeling and they transform it into an attack. This tactic creates defensive exhaustion. You spend so much energy clarifying what you actually said that the original issue is never addressed. Eventually, you simply stop raising your concerns. Watch for conversations that constantly derail into you defending your words instead of resolving problems. If you often find yourself saying, "That's not what I meant," you're very likely dealing with an expert in word twisting. Manipulators use misinterpretation as a weapon to maintain control and avoid responsibility. The fifth sign shows how they use other people against you, and it's devastatingly effective. We've already covered 4 powerful signs, but the next ones are even more dangerous because they exploit fundamental human psychology. Once you recognize them, you'll never be vulnerable again. Sign number 5, social weaponization. The fifth sign is when they use other people as tools in their gaslighting campaign. This creates the illusion that several people share their distorted view of you. They'll say, "Everyone agrees with me," or "I spoke with Sarah, she also thinks you're overreacting." Constantly positions you as the irrational outlier. They're not describing reality, they're constructing it. Sign number 6, emotional invalidation. The sixth sign is when they systematically dismiss or ridicule your feelings until you no longer trust them. Manipulators specifically target the emotions that threaten their control. They will tell you that you're too sensitive, that you're overreacting, or that it's not worth getting upset about. They might laugh at your concerns or roll their eyes. Over time, you begin to hide your feelings or apologize for having them. This invalidation breaks the connection between your emotional responses and your rational mind. Eventually, you become unable to identify, trust, or express your authentic feelings. Notice if you frequently apologize for your emotions or conceal them to avoid dismissal. In healthy relationships, emotions are treated as important information. Manipulators, on the other hand, treat your feelings as obstacles rather than valid experiences. The seventh sign shows how they use authority against you, especially in professional relationships. And this is where it gets fascinating. The following signs are often disguised as helpful behaviors. They are exploiting your trust circuits. Sign number 7, expertise exploitation. The seventh sign is when they use credentials or specialized knowledge to override your perceptions. This is common with manipulators who are doctors, lawyers, financial experts, or simply have more experience. They weaponize their expertise with phrases like, "As someone who understands this," or "With my background, I know better than you." They position themselves as objective authorities while framing you as ignorant. This works because humans are predisposed to defer to supposed experts, questioning ourselves before questioning figures of authority. Notice if someone consistently uses their credentials to shut down your concerns rather than address them. True expertise informs and empowers, it doesn't silence. If their knowledge always supports their position and invalidates yours, it's not expertise, it's manipulation. The eighth sign disguises control as care, making it one of the hardest to recognize. Sign number 8, compassionate control. The eighth sign is when they disguise gaslighting as concern for your well-being. It's difficult to identify because it masquerades as love. They will less. If their concern leaves you doubting your capabilities, it's not love, it's control. The ninth sign reveals how they exhaust your mental resources, ensuring you can never win. Sign number 9, shifting standards. The ninth sign is when they constantly change the requirements for being believed or respected. No matter what you do, it's never enough. If you're emotional, they say they can't talk until you're calm. When you're calm, they say you don't care enough. If you don't give examples, you're being vague. If you give examples, you're nitpicking. The standards constantly evolve to ensure you can never meet them. This creates cognitive resource depletion, consuming the mental bandwidth you need for critical thinking and self-advocacy. Eventually, you stop trying altogether. Notice if the rules for being heard constantly change in a way that keeps you on the defensive. In healthy communication, the goal is mutual understanding. With manipulators, the goal is your exhaustion and surrender. The 10th sign reveals their most subtle tactic, how they maintain credibility while manipulating. Sign number 10, the truth trickle. The 10th sign is when they strategically admit to small truths to cover up bigger lies. Instead of total denial, they concede minor points while continuing to distort the larger reality. They might admit, "Okay, maybe I did say that," but then add, "But you completely misunderstood my intention," or "Only because you provoked me." They acknowledge small facts but twist their meaning. These calculated admissions make them seem reasonable, building credibility while they continue the manipulation. It's particularly effective because it exploits your desire for resolution. Now that you know these 10 signs, you'll notice gaslighting tactics you previously missed. Sometimes people use these techniques because they learned them in childhood, but intent doesn't erase the damage. Gaslighting destroys authentic connection. The most powerful defense is awareness. When you can name the tactic, it loses much of its power over you. Remember, trusting your perception isn't just a psychological skill, it's your fundamental right. No one has the right to rewrite your reality.